Welcome, viewers and listeners, to another episode of the Afro Gamer podcast. Today, we will be talking about the Africa Communicate. I'm not going to jump into too much introduction because we have special guests in our midst, and they will go ahead to, give us, the drum roll about the Africa Communicate. I do have the founders of the Africa Communicate with us, and how best as to than to hear it from the horse's mouth itself. Not that I'm calling them horses, but it's always best, yeah, to hear from the people who had the idea and who brought it to life. So I would introduce Oscar and Tosin. So you guys can take it one at a time, tell us about yourself, and let people know who are the faces behind the Africa Communicate.
Okay, well, I think I go first. My name is Oscar Michael. I am one of the co-founders of Africa Communicate, and basically I'm a game developer, a creative as well. I draw, I write, and currently I'm an EIT at West Africa also. So yeah, let's start with that. I guess I'll introduce myself more. Let me give the first person.
Okay, thank you very much. And Tosin, what about you?
Okay. Hello. My name is Oluwatosin Ogunyebi. I'm a game developer, an XR developer, and also a co-founder at Africa Communicate. So that's basically it.
Okay, good. Those are interesting titles, and I'm sure we'd want to hear more about them as we, continue in the chat. For the viewers, if you have any questions for them, you can, in the comment section, you can always just send your comment. If it's a question, suggestion, if it's a shout out to them, not to your mother or to your dad, but to them, then then we'll go ahead and address it. So what is the Africa Communicate? Because once people see the posters, people see it on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, let's make it easy, layman's language. What is it? What is the Africa Communicate?
Okay, yeah. So the Africa Communicate is basically a platform that is created to showcase African creatives. And by creatives, I mean people in the creative industry. This includes game developers, animators, content creators, writers, graphic artists, even sound engineers, and more. So Africa Communicate is a platform where all these people can come together to network with one another and showcase their skills basically to the world. We created this platform so that we could use it as a window to expose these people and their activities and to allow cross-country interaction as well, because that is something that, aside the music industry in Africa, is lacking in other creative industry of Africa. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. So Tose, how did the idea come about? And Oscar has told us what Africa Communicate is, but how did you guys have that light bulb moment? Like, yes, I think we should do this.
Okay, great. So I've been organizing game jams for about 2 years now in Ilorin, Nigeria, and what I've noticed is most people don't know about anything gaming because I love games. I play games. I create games. So when I talk to people that, oh, I create games, and they're like, really? Are there people that do things like that in Nigeria? And I'm like, yes, there are, but they are few. Even getting to know them is very, very difficult because we are just scattered everywhere. And that was why I started doing game jams as part of Global Game Jam. And from there, I saw that there was a need to actually create a platform to just have everybody together. Then I spoke with Oscar. Oscar has been my mentor for quite a while now because we met, I think, 3 years ago at Center for Tech. So he's been in the industry for quite a while now, and he has explored a lot of areas from games to animations to sounds to movies, in fact. So I spoke to him about it and he was like, yes, we need something like this in Africa, and not just in the games industry, the movie industry, the animation industry. We just need a place for everybody to come together and see that, yes, we can make things happen. Standing united as one, we can make things happen, because a lot of things have been happening in the background. We have game industries, we have game publishers that are making things happen. But if we look at it, a lot of guys are just doing things on their own. And we believe once we collaborate together, we can create bigger things and make much more impact across Africa. So that's basically it for me.
Hmm. I like a few things that you said there, which I have always, every conversation I have with people in terms of, gaming and esports, which is just a little bit of part of what you guys are doing. Um, you have gamers, but you hardly hear about the game developers. That's in Nigeria, in Africa. And me, I'm always for channel for once I go online and I see, an African game, I actually want to do more research on the game, if it's playable. And I'm already thinking, how can this be an esports game? How can, someone in Lagos play someone in Kenya? And how can we make it like a tournament and you have sponsors? I'm already thinking along that line. So I think the question now should be, why do we think there's a disconnect between the end users, which is gamers, people who consume the creative side from you guys? Why do you think there's a disconnect between both sides? I know, there's always that default excuse of, hey, we're so stuck on what the Western world is doing. We want to consume more of their games, more of their, cartoons, animations. So what would you say is the disconnect? I won't say it's the problem, but there's a disconnect within that as to, even if it's to watch an African animation, some people will not. If it's not Disney, they're not watching. If it's you understand. So I think I think the thing is, what do you think the disconnect is?
Okay. I would say, first things first, the general, how would I put it, feeling that we Africans have generally is things like this are not meant for us. There's that feeling that why would you go and be creating animations, games? And when I talk to my mom about games, she's like, "You are wasting your time." Honestly, that's what she says most of the, "Yeah, wasting your time." But until she started saying, "Okay, you actually did this, you did this," and like, "Oh, so Nigerians, Africans can do things like this." Like, yes, with proper resources, tools, and enlightenment, we can actually create stuff ourselves. It's not all the time we have to consume. Once we have a larger percentage of creators than consumers, trust me, it is going to be very, very epic, and the market in Africa would go big. But right now, everybody just wants to consume, because creating is actually difficult and it takes a lot of process. And being in Africa, we are like a couple of steps behind, if I would say. So I believe that disconnects there, where people would say we can't do things like this. I think it's just there in the mind, and it's sad to a point, but I believe with more platforms where people can see that, yes, things like this are actually lucrative and you can do them, I think this would reduce that feeling that everybody has that we can't do things in Africa. But I believe we can create enough things if we put our mind to it.
Hmm. So, Oscar, do you think, because the gaming and esports industry, the main problem now is more of unlearning and relearning? Like Tosin said, when you tell people this is what you're doing, I'm an animator, I'm a this, because it is not part of our culture or part of our culture because we have started adopting it. Do you think that is the problem in terms of mindset? So a lot of how do I put it now? Educated illiterates. Yeah, I use that word because once you now start saying, "Oh, I'm a creative. This is what I do. I create content X, Y, Z." people are looking like, what are you? What are you? If you're not a doctor, if you're not, so do you think that is the problem? Because for the gaming side, we've already established that people think gaming is gambling and so on and so forth, and there has to be an unlearning and relearning. So, in a nutshell, for creatives generally, be it the animator, graphic artist, and so on and so forth, do you think, because of our culture, we need to unlearn and relearn?
Let me see. Okay, I don't know where to start from. Basically, would I say it's because of illiteracy? I think I'll follow the last thing you said more, which is cultural adoption. We Africans already have the mentality, a majority of us have this mentality that we can do great stuff, just like Tosin was trying to say. So I think, yeah, there needs to be more education on that, even because even those who are educated still don't consume things made locally. In fact, a majority of the educated people watch more or consume more foreign products and content because they believe it has more quality than what we produce locally. So I think we really need to look at cultural adoption, and this goes across board. From it's the music industry, I think, that has really, really boosted our
Mm-hmm.
creative industry, so to say. The music industry, content creation in terms of comedy, you see the way we consume it happily. But when it comes to tech generally, anything related to tech, I think there's this fear that because it did not originate from us, we are just copying, forgetting that that's how every big industry right now. If you look at the China ecosystem, their tech industry is one of the biggest and strongest right now. But they started by copying, they started by reverse engineering, and here they are today. And aside cultural adoption, I also think we also need to have a mental shift in terms of Pan-Africanism, should I put it that way? There's a big lack of collaboration in the industry. Um, Locally in nations, you find indie game developers not willing to work with one another, not willing to share their ideas. This goes beyond even game development. When it comes to ideas, the people, a majority of Africans think somebody is going to steal their idea and run away with it, so to say. And when it comes to collaboration, I don't know, there's this fear. It could be because of lack of funds, because most people you want to collaborate with you would not want to spend their time doing something that is not certain to give them a return. So this is a big issue. And it took me a while as well to adopt that attitude of seeing people as someone you could actually work with. Because even moving away from locally, if you look cross country, let's say somebody from West Africa wants to work with somebody from East Africa, there are a lot of biases in play. There's this idea of how West Africans act, how East Africans act as well and work. There's in East Africa, there's this idea Ghanaians have of Nigerians, Nigerians have of
Yeah, yeah.
Ghanaians. You get the idea. So it takes a lot, but if there's that mental shift, it works a lot on our psychology. If we can reorient our minds, see that we are all humans and it's a common goal. We can only achieve it if we work together as one. Then I believe people would be able to do more stuff. Because the only reason companies like Ubisoft, Activision, EA Games are making dope ass games and content is because it's not a one man thing. If you look at the people who work on this, the credits, you find out they have up to 50 people on board creating
True.
just one game.
That's
But when
true.
you look at the local games made in Africa, you see 10 people. One person is the designer, is the sound engineer, is the how do you want him to do something? How do you want him
But
to build something that can be consumed?
yeah, but remember back in the Nollywood days too, you have one person having more than half of the credit. So
Exactly. But now that they've been able to diversify, now that they've included more people, now that you see us going for the big shots, you see us bringing foreigners into, I don't know if you remember the early or late 2000s when the Ghanaian movie industry was actually entering into Nigeria. There was a lot of collaboration Look at how it has opened our markets to the world. Now we even have Nigerian movie content in Netflix. That would not have been possible years ago when it was just all Nigerian movies, and the Yoruba people had Yoruba movies for their own set. The Igbo people had Igbo movies. But when you see they started moving into speaking English and mixing it with the local culture, people were able to listen more to it. People were able to enjoy it more. And that's what opened floors. And I think that's what is really lacking: cultural adoption and a shift in the mindset. We need to think beyond just who we are, what we see around us, if we want to create that content that people far from us can consume.
Okay, great point, Tosi. Great point, Oscar. There are a few comments here. Let me just read them before we move along. Musa Kamara said, Tosin is right. Great analysis. I guess that was when you were talking about, your journey and the issues. Then you do have Olowu Kayode, who said, absolutely right, Tosin. And he said, I'm learning animation, but yet I don't see myself becoming a great animator. Victor Igwe said, yes, there is lack of cooperation. That is true. Musa Kamara also said, what do they think about IT or technical guys' responsibility regarding the consumption of data by local populations when, one, they are part of esports teams, two, when they are not in touch with esports? I'll leave that question for Tosin to answer. And Victor said they can actually have up to 200 people working on a single game for years, which is true. So Tosin, I would want you to address Musa Kamara's question.
Okay, he said, what do they think about IT or technical guys' responsibility regarding the consumption of data by local populations when they are part of esports team, when they are not in touch with esports? Okay, first things first. If we are to talk about esports in Africa, we'll get it very.
That is
that's another matter for another day.
That is another kind of worms. Let's just leave that.
I'll just cover a little on that. First things first. Data consumption, our bandwidth in Africa generally is still not there for us to compete on a global standard. I cannot imagine myself wanting to compete with somebody in Europe, and even before I shoot him, he has shot me and we are playing COD together. Even if I carry gun and shoot you, I'll shoot you. I don't know what I'm doing. So it's really, really annoying for gamers. But the thing is, we believe if the industry key players can really help with this, we have a lot of esports organizations now that are working towards making things better for esports. We believe if they can collaborate well with telcos in making better bandwidth for gamers and having better options, better subscription plans for these gamers, I believe it's a starting point. But for now, let's wait and see. But we hope collaboration happens and things like this can be looked at.
Okay. So quick question, Oscar. For the gamers, data consumption is an issue, but for the creative side, the developers, the animators, and graphic designers, and so on, is that also a problem for them, or is not as much as for the gamers and esports players?
I think it's a big problem, actually. Yes, It's a very, very big problem. As long as you are in anything that involves the use of technology and you really want to excel, data is a big issue, especially with the fact that for gamers, animators, and the likes in Africa, you do realize that a majority of us, up till today, institutions are just being set that can actually take you through in a formal education structure, let's say like a university. These institutions are just coming up. Prior to this, a majority of us learned online on YouTube, MOCs, basically. So you have to stream, you have to download assets. We are currently, Antosia currently mentoring some game developers under a kind of program, trying to teach them how to use Unity. A majority of them have complained about just downloading the setup alone. That's a big issue. Because if you look at, there are some areas cross country where the connectivity is good and there are areas where it's not good as well. So this is a big issue because the resources they use to learn is online, from the assets to the tutorials to sounds, anything they want to do is online. And if they also want to learn how to better push their content, that is also done online. Basically, in the creative industry, whatever you do locally, it's majorly sold. The best place to sell it is online, and you're going to need data and connectivity to do that. So it's a very big issue,
Mm.
cross
Wow,
cross
so
skill set, basically. Yeah.
wow, that is really deep because wow, it affects everything creative or and get oh, wow.
True.
Yeah, I know you mentioned Unity. I know I've been seeing a lot of things about Unity, social media, and I guess that is supposed to be like a platform to allow gamers or creatives develop stuff. Am I correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Um, I believe so. Unity is one of the major game development engines we
Okay,
have
engine.
out there.
Okay, good, good. So let's jump back to the. Okay, you want to say something, Oscar?
Yeah, and they have Unity Connect. I think they just brought it down now, but they've created a lot of new platforms that allow developers to showcase their work, and even their tutorials have been made free. They have a lot of content that can actually kickstart someone in a game development career. Even beyond that, in animation, in production as well. They have a lot of content on Unity Learn now open.
Okay, great, great, great. So let's talk about the Africa Communicate. What should the attendees be expecting?
Okay, should I go to see? Or you go?
You go, you go, you go.
Okay, okay then. Yeah. So what we are looking at with this, we call it the Africa Communicate Gamerton, being one of the first initiative and focused on those in the gaming industry. Basically, we're looking at bringing talk sessions from industry players. One of which I'm very excited to be working once more with Aram Tawai. I don't know if you know him, the CEO of Letiat. He's
Yeah,
more
I
like
do.
an
Mhm.
yeah, he's more like an elder to us, if I can say that, in the gaming industry, because he has
Oh,
been here for more than 10 years now. So we look at getting talks from this kind of people who are going to look critically at the challenges being faced and solutions we have as a team come up with that we think can actually help, because that's the idea. We have looked deeply at the issues facing the gaming industries, and we've come up with some ideas and solutions. And that's why we're calling people to come together so that we can share these ideas with them during the program. So it's a gameathon because there are talks starting from the event will hold from August 24th to 30th. So from the 24th to 28th, there are going to be talks. We're also looking at bringing in training sessions. We're in talks with some of these game engines. We're in talks with professionals. So they'll hold sessions, training sessions for an hour or about, and they'll show developers, both newbies and pros, some of their tips and tricks on how to use these platforms. One of them is we have something new, which is rare in the gaming industry. A lot of the events and programs out there, they really look into sound engineering. But today, we have somebody that works with Disney that is going to come and show people how to create sounds, basically. And that would be communicated later on. Zian Lee and one other. So there'll be trainings, there'll be talks, then the game jam itself. We would also have panel sessions and ask me anything sessions. Afterwards, we're looking at having prizes because we want people to collaborate cross country. So if you're signing in from Nigeria, we don't basically want you to bring your friends in and form a team. We want you to work with people from Botswana, from South Africa, from Kenya, from Mali, and the likes like that. And based on the game built around the team, we have prize categories which we'll be giving out. We're also looking at scholarship opportunities as well as paid internships. Now, these are some of the solutions we have come up with that we believe can help the gaming industry to progress from where it is today. So there are lots of things to look out for, basically, and we're excited about
no, I like the sound of that. That is very, very creative for a creative event.
it.
Yeah, let me put on my lyricist face cap. Yeah, that is creative for a creative event because you are kind of spinning more of something unique into the event. Hopefully, knowing our people, I hope they see that this is really, really good because I still stand on the fact that we have so many, many educated illiterates that you have to, yeah, you basically have to drag them to the water, like, hey, come and drink. But now that you've mentioned Disney, I'm sure that that would catch their attention. Is anyone from Unity coming to speak?
Yeah, we're in talks with people from Unity, actually. We're in talks with John Ariquer. We're in talks with Josh and many other people, and not just Unity. We want to create the platform for other game engines as well to come on
Okay.
board. So we're in talks with Buildbox. We hope they come on board. That's another game engine that can get people started quickly. And we're also in talks with lots of communities. We're happy to have the Ghanaian gaming community, the Gas Bros Gaming Network on board.
Oh,
We are in
wonderful.
talks with, yeah, we're in talks with Proserium. That's Proserium and Women in Gaming to bring more female game developers. Because you'll be shocked that we have female game developers in Africa, but
Oh,
majority of them will work on foreign projects. So we are looking at that as well to onboard people through various tech communities like Buddies in Tech, like Skido Tools in Botswana. So yeah, we look forward to something good. And we hope that through these networks, we can get people aware so that they can partake in these events because we're looking at something long term. It might be the maiden edition of this program, but our plan with lots of our stakeholders like Deal Room, Ambitious Africa, is to actually create something that goes for a long while because we have milestones that we'll track to see the progress. And it's huge. So I do hope people sign up for the event.
oh, okay, great, great. I'm happy you said something. You did a lot of name dropping, and why I said name dropping was because
Wow.
yes, why I
Okay.
said so is because when most people say something, Africa, this that I was watching a podcast yesterday, and the lady was saying in South Africa that you called it um Africa something. I think Africa Gamer Con or something, but it was just people in Cape Town that were there. So you should have just called it Cape Town Gaming Con instead, rather than Africa, because Africans were not there. And that was my fear because I was saying, okay, you guys are in Nigeria, and if everyone is going to be in Nigeria, then why call it Africa Communicate? But now with the name dropping and the different countries you mentioned, it just goes ahead to confirm that you actually thought about it for it to be African based and not just a community in Nigeria. So I would use that to congratulate you guys. That is well thought of, and I hope they can also bring in their communities,
Yeah.
so that everyone can collaborate because that is a major problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Collaboration. So quickly, Tosin, um, you mentioned that there was going to be a gaming tournament in the event. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, definitely. Before I talk about that, I just want to address the issue of the Pan African thing. Even from the organizing team, we have a Pan African team of organizers. We have Wendy Ndaki from Kenya. We have Ibrahima Munkuru from Mali. And we have someone else from Botswana that we're looking to onboard. So we don't just want it to be concentrated on one part of Africa. We actually want to bring in more Africans so everyone can collaborate. Now, for the issue of the games, we are going to be having games post jam. What I mean by that is deadlines for submissions of games would be on Sunday, the 30th of August. But we would be having a week for our judges to grade these games that were built during the game jam. So during that period, we are going to be having various esports competitions among participating countries to engage everyone. So we don't just want everybody to go and sit and wait for results. We want people to network, to engage in esports together and see that yes, while we are creating the games, we need to play games too. Because all work, no play makes what Jack a dull boy. And
Yeah.
the games industry generally is nothing without the creators. the gamers themselves. So it's a collaborative industry. If we are creating games and there's nobody to play, then we are doing nothing. If we are playing games and nobody's creating more games, there's no fun in that too. So it's a collaborative thing, and we all just need to be together. That's why the esports part is coming in.
Yeah. Can I add to what Tosin
Yeah,
said?
go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, just like he said, it's a collaborative thing, and we look at onboarding lots of people. And while the esport tournaments will be going, like we said, we want to show people opportunities out there, even just like play testing, basically. That's something that you rarely hear about in the gaming industry. And we are speaking with people, African play testers. When you build games, they actually sit down, play your game, and test your game, and they give you feedback. And these are part of the people that would be the judges in the prize category, basically. So we would have judges based on the people we prefer. And since the game jam is holding on itch.io, basically the public as well will have a section to actually vote for the games built. Yeah.
I'm a game tester. You people did not invite me.
Ooh, we
Oh,
didn't know. That's what
wonderful.
we are saying. There's a disconnect.
I didn't get what's it called? I didn't get invite from you guys because I'm not a certified game tester, but once I see it's
Okay.
an African game, I want to play it. I will download if it's web based.
Yeah.
I will go to the website and play. I've played a few games. I've even reached out to developers like, hey, is the game ready? And so I can play. And I believe that is what I like what you said. That is what needs to be done so that we can always give feedback and
Sure.
as to how playable it is, if it needs a multiplayer mode. So let's promote our own. That is where I stand, and I'm ready to push. It's not for let me just digress a little bit. There's been this controversy of if you play FIFA, that global tournaments, they're always excluding Africa, and a
Yeah.
few stakeholders have said, why don't game developers actually create a football game?
Sure.
I don't know if you guys have it in the works, but yeah, I don't know if you guys have, but that's what they said. Africa, a football game for Africa that will have African teams, African clubs, and we'll play. We don't have to be waiting for
Yeah.
FIFA to have a global tournament. So, that's nice. If you have any games for me to test, I'm
Well,
more than happy to test the game out.
I think it's settled then. You're on board.
see,
Yeah, I
see,
think so.
see how I stylishly gave myself a job
Pitched.
in Africa.
Exactly.
I pitched myself into Africa Communicator.
So I think it's settled. And to speak to what you said about the gaming, that's where we're actually trying to reach out. They say I think years back, 2, 3 years back, Chop Up Games actually came up with a football game, but it was more like a beachside football game. And the reason why Africa has not till today and might never, if it doesn't change its mentality, is because if you look at FIFA, look at the credit scene. It's not a 10-man or 20-man team, for
No,
crying
it's
out
not.
loud. And it will take the best to build it. So that's what we're trying to push. If a very, very good developer in, let's say, Ghana can discover another badass developer in Botswana, then they can do something very good. Instead of trying to just look around you, we're trying to widen the scope for collaboration and discovery. And I believe if this kind of communication progresses, if we continue to speak with one another, share ideas, share opportunities, in no time, because we also have games, like we have ideas in line that we love game developers to build. We have publishers who are also on board for this gameathon we're doing. So if you even have games you want to publish, these are part of the opportunities we're also bringing to the table. But all of this would only work if we move away from our zone, our comfort zone, and reach out to one another. So yeah.
That's I like that. Josie, quick question before we round up.
Okay.
The time, the number of years the movie industry and the music industry took to, become acceptable and get international recognition. Do you think the creative industry, in terms of game animation, game playing, esports, and whatnot, do you think it's going to take more, less,
Okay.
or the same number of years to get that recognition and acceptance? Oscar, you also jump in and answer the question after Tose.
Okay. I think there's a
Yeah,
lot to discuss about that. First things first, like I used to tell everybody, in the US, the gaming industry is twice bigger than both the movie and music industry combined. That's one fact I like to tell
fine.
people.
No,
Go and check it out. The
I did
gaming
not
industry,
know that. I'm not
no,
gonna
it
lie.
is way
I did
bigger.
not even know that.
Even just the mobile gaming industry alone, which accounts for I think 47% of the games industry's revenue, which is I think about over $60 billion. The whole movie industry together is I think for something $1 billion. That was the revenue generated, I think 2019, if I'm correct. GTA 5 is worth more than box office record. Avengers, the latest Avengers movie, Endgame, right? It is worth more than
Yeah,
it by far. So the thing is, the music and movie industry in Nigeria has gone far. In Africa, generally has gone far, and the creative industry, which includes the games and the animation, is still lagging behind. But what me I see is there are a lot of technologies out there now. There are a lot of tools, a lot of resources that we can use to learn and move at an exponential rate compared to the movie and music industry. Because back then, they didn't really have enough things to work with.
Mm,
And I believe if we can leverage on the access to resources now, we can actually move very, very fast and reach there in shorter time compared to the movie and music industry. So if we can have more and more events like this, more and more opportunities like this that can expose people on time to know that yes, my son, my daughter can build games, they can play games. Back then too, if you tell your the 90s, if you tell your parents, I want to go and do theater art, you'll be like, so bad. Sorry about that. So 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 I think until people realize that things like this are actually lucrative and that's what we need. Not everybody can be doctors, not everybody can be engineers. But here there's a whole lot. When people talk about games, only people only see, okay, you play game. Most people don't think that yes, I can create games. Apart from developing games, under game development alone, you have the likes of game developers, sound engineers, storytellers, concept artists. There are a lot of job opportunities. You even have lawyers that actually have to work on publishing deals and all. So there's a lot.
yeah.
There's a
Sorry to cut
lot
you.
that people
Yeah,
don't know
sorry to cut.
about.
That industry brings in
It's a very, very big
everybody.
industry. It brings in everybody. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of opportunities there that people are not seeing it. And until they see it, they won't partake in it and grow the industry. So
Mm.
people need to see it first that yes, this can actually work. Then if they join, I believe in no time, the games industry in Africa generally will be bigger than both the movie and music industry
So
combined.
that
Trust me.
means as much as you don't want them to come for you on social media, you are saying it's going to you are saying it's going to take less time.
Yeah, it should.
Okay,
It
good.
should.
I
It
want you
should.
to categorize say so that when they drag you
They
and you
should
say
drag me, please.
when
Because
they drag you and you say you
look
didn't
at
say
it.
it, I
Look at it.
have
Let me say one more thing. In the games industry, all this music that people are creating, you will still want us to put it inside games so you can reach more people.
yeah,
The
yeah,
movies want adaptations of games.
yeah.
If you look at it, even look at games like Assassin's Creed. It started out as a game, now it has a movie.
Movie.
So you can see that collaboration together self in that industry can bring more and more. But trust me, the games industry, please. I don't want to talk about that too much. All right then. So that's it from me.
Okay, let me just read a few comments and we close with Oscar.
yeah.
All right. Thank you for all the viewers. Gamers blog Ghana said I'm watching live from Ghana. Thank you for watching. Um, big ups the Afro Gamer. Thank you very much. Um, Kwesi Hefford is saying hello to everyone.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Um, Victor said many people don't know that that about the game industry. Whenever the argument comes up, I just tell them that Candy Crush is worth more than three highest gross movies in the world combined. He also said GTA 5 is overkill. And Sportastic TV said, nice conversation, guys. Okay, Annie Bukun said, good job, guys. Okay, so quickly, Oscar.
Yeah.
How do I put this question now? Tosin has definitely said it's going to be it's going to take less time. It's going to take this thing. How do we educate more people? Because I am still for education, education, education. Fine, there's the Africa Communicate, but how do we how, because once again, you know how Africans are, if it's not staring at them in the face continuously, they will most likely not jump on it. So, what do you think should be the mediums of, education? Because Africa Communicate is for a certain period, then, there'll be, hopefully a next time. But between that time frame, how do we continually educate people? Like, hey, you can come into animation, you can come into design, you can do sound engineering, you can be a gamer. What do you think should be the roadmap to building that creative industry?
Okay, so I'll pick up from where Tosin left because I had a comment on that side, and I would say it would take less time, but there's an if, and that's if there is collaboration. If there is no collaboration among all stakeholders, it would take far more time. We will still keep on talking. But if there is collaboration across board, then it will take less time. Let's look at the comic industry in Africa, for example. Right now, EXO, made by Unique Studios, is making wave in the UK and the US. Right now, in animation, we have Ant Hill Studios, who have wowed the world, basically. Then we have the guys working on, is it Throne of Gods or so? The Shango adaptation as a movie
Wow,
where they
yeah,
make use
I
of,
saw that. Yeah,
yeah,
I saw that. That was
those
cool.
guys have wowed the world as well. So what is happening? It's because they are expanding, they are bringing in people. The reason why we brought Africa Communicate and the reason why I am in this space basically is because it cuts across board, from psychologists to actors. Even doing voiceover should not be done by a normal person. Coming up with a game idea should not be done by the game developer himself. There are people that are storytellers. They need to
Storytellers,
do
yeah.
this. So until there is this collaboration, until it comes together, we all see ourselves as one, that's when this industry would actually move further. And as to education, that's where we're reaching across the networks. I did make mention of some gaming networks, communities basically. And I also made mention of some communities that are not yet focused on games. Like, let me make an example. There's a new growing community called Baddies in Tech. They're actually trying to bring women into the tech industry. Now,
Is
the
that in
founder of
Nigeria?
this,
Is that in Nigeria, Africa, or worldwide now?
Africa, basically,
Okay, great,
not even
great.
in Nigeria.
Oh,
She's
great.
currently in Ghana. Her name is Ali. She's currently in Ghana, but
Okay.
it's for Africa across board. And she's trying
Okay.
to bring more African women into tech to show them what they can do.
Oh,
Right now,
great.
after discussions with her, she's looking at showing African women how to get into the gaming industry.
Oh,
These are the
wonderful.
things we need to do. Cut across networks, not just gaming networks, but other networks to show them the opportunities. And finally, no matter how much we talk about it, the truth is until there are success stories, we know ourselves.
No,
I've
of
been in the
course.
gaming industry for more than 5 years right now, and I did a lot of pivoting within. So I tried out gaming, I tried out apps development just for a little while. I tried out animations, I did embedded systems, but because there was no point where I could make that big money. The reason why the music industry is making wave right now is because the musicians of today are getting sponsorships, they're getting deals, they're driving good cars. And our game developers that are making it, yes, a majority of them are making it because they are looking at the outside market. Until they come in and show us these hacks, until they come in and bring these opportunities, until those amongst us that are making it big in industry start telling people how to make it big and start showing that, yeah, you can actually make it big. Truth is, people would not come. And that's what we are trying to do. Show them the opportunities, show them the mistakes they are making so that they can hack it, so that we ourselves too can actually make it. And I tell you, once we are able to show that value, we won't need to educate people, they'll educate themselves. It's like the software industry of today. Coding is difficult. Nobody loved coding until Andela started giving you MacBooks and free iPhones. Everybody everywhere right now is a front-end developer, HTML developer, stuff like that. So that's it basically. And we're on that mission to show people you can make money through games. We're on that mission to connect people with opportunities. We're on that mission to make people in the creative industry earn more. And we believe that aside going around making noise and raising publicity, once we can connect some few individuals with these opportunities, people will begin to educate themselves and will come more into this industry.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Oscar. So in closing, Tosin, tell us about the event, dates, how can people join, how can people connect with you guys, so that all this talking, they won't be like, okay, so you people have been talking, you haven't told us how we can join, how we can register, your social media platform.
Okay, so just
and the dates
on Twitter and Instagram at Africa Communicate. Then just visit the website www.africacommunicate.org to register. Then upon registration, you'll be linked to the itch.io page where you can register for the game jam, and you would be given access to our Discord server so you can meet other creatives. So it's going to be starting on the 24th of August, which is a Monday, and it's going to run through till Sunday, 30th of August. Then information about post jam will be passed across via the Discord server.
Okay. Let me just read a few comments I've seen so that no one gets offended. Okay, so Alfred said many people are not aware of the many opportunities that exist in the gaming industry. That is true. That is true. Victor said one big problem of education we have is that the closest college of animation I know is in Canada. Kwesi said awareness, acceptance, and recognition. Which he has always been preaching. Thank you for that. Michael said yes. As a software developer, how do I fit into this campaign? I would briefly allow Oscar to answer that, but let me finish with this. You have talked through Oscar. Majority wants to hear success story before they join the kingdom of gaming that we are trying to bring to Africa. Well, that is true. Oscar, briefly just answer Michael Hammond's question as we round up.
Okay, so as a software developer, how do you do this? You could share the opportunity we're trying to project. You can invite more software developers to just try it out. And the interesting thing is you could also register for the game jam. As a software developer, no matter which stack you're using, if it's JavaScript, if you are good with JavaScript, that means you build with Angular and the rest. If you're conversant with C#, probably you're a .NET developer now, or if you use C++, we have game engines that also follow these stacks. I believe Construct and GameMaker makes use of JavaScript. So if you're a JavaScript developer, easy jumping. You're a .NET developer, then Unity is your best bet. You won't have any issue. You just go through the documentation. If you're a C++ developer, Unreal Engine is your best bet. And there's no restrictions in the game jam. We're looking at offering training sessions on how to kickstart you, and we'll be sharing lots of tutorials that developers using these various engines have used and can verify, can vet for, so that you can use that to just start up. So share these opportunities. This game jam is all about fun and meeting people. Try it out. There's no, whether you're a newbie or not, if you're a developer, it's even going to be much more fun for you. Try it out, build something, and then we'll share the opportunities we have on board and we could see. And just to add as well, even if you don't want to finally end up as a game developer, there are lots of the tech stacks you guys make use of that we game developers use as well. if you know how to use Firebase, we need you to help us work on analytics and all. There's so much in the gaming industry that even software developers can be a part of. So that's it from my side.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that, Oscar and Tosin. To all our viewers, thank you very much for tuning in and commenting. Um, yeah, you know, it's a continuous series about the Africa Communicate. So we'll have a next episode till the event where we get to speak to different personalities who are invested in the event. So please remember to tune in. You can follow us also on all our social media platforms at the Afro Gamer on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and we hope to see you at the Africa Communicate. From me
Thank you.
personally, thank you very much, and to Oscar and Toasting also.
Thank you very much.